Dave Moore, thanks so much for sitting down and chatting with us. On Friday, the FDA approved Rybelsus for yet another indication. Rybelsus is a pill form of semaglutide. This is one of the things that everyone is watching. What does that mean for you as you get another indication for Rybelsus, and what does that mean for the manufacturing of those pills?
Yeah, thanks, Bertha. It's great to be with you here at Health. It's a really exciting conference. We were very pleased to receive the approval on Friday where Rybelsus is now also indicated for cardiovascular risk reduction. And it's important because it's primary and secondary, meaning you didn't have to have a previous event. Really important to add to the label people living with diabetes and have that conversation with their clinician. And it's really just adding to the indications that we have for our semaglutide containing products. And yes, Rybelsus is an oral form of Ozempic, if you will, for diabetes. And we're also really proud to be able to say that that is made end-to-end in the United States. Rybelsus pill is made in our North Carolina plant from start to finish, meaning starting materials all the way to the tablet. And the same will be true if we're able to have the approval of our Wegovy pill. That will also be made by Americans, for Americans, in our factory in North Carolina.
You know, with the launch of Wegovy and Ozempic, a few years ago, you did have a problem keeping up with demand, and for a long time, it seemed like you struggled to get there. How are you preparing for the potential approval of this Wegovy pill, and especially if now you also see more demand for Rybelsus?
Yeah, it's something that we care deeply about right now, and that is having resilience of supply. And as you mentioned, early stages of Wegovy launch, we did encounter supply challenges. The demand was just outstripped what we were able to produce, and it was unprecedented and unexpected that the demand would be that high. So we learned from that. In recent years, we worked really hard to build up our supply, and Wegovy is now available in all doses anywhere a patient may receive their medicine. But we also thought long and hard about that when we were planning for the launch of Wegovy pill, so the oral form of Wegovy. And we've been building that resilience in supply in anticipation of that launch, which we think will be around the turn of the year.
You know, at this conference, there's a lot of talk about AI, and there are almost as many sessions about GLP-1s. And as I had mentioned to you earlier, it almost feels as though GLP-1s right now are kind of like a generative AI type of medication. You have so many indications that you are looking to present to the FDA over the course of the next few months.
Yeah. I share that feeling. It's really an excitement level that exists today at this conference. We're talking about the data that's available and what it means to really lean into your health. And then also, I feel like we're even in the early stages of GLP-1 and what we're learning about these medicines. And it's incredible. We've been studying obesity in GLP-1s for over 25 years at Novo Nordisk, and we're still learning about what these medicines are capable of. And I think what we'll do is just follow the science. Our experts and our scientists and R&D, they're just going to follow what they're hearing, what they're learning across the globe, and make sure that we're doing the best we can to actually study these medicines in an indication so that we can bring them to people and educate about what's possible.
Government suddenly or currently shut down. Is that slowing down the process with regard to FDA?
We haven't seen any signs of that, and certainly we hope that that would not be the case. We are still in active dialogue. The Wegovy pill submission is an active review right now, and it's very engaging, and so we haven't seen any signs of that at this point.
One of the other issues is access to these medications. Price is a big issue. You negotiate all over the world, and now you're negotiating here in the U.S. And just last week, President Trump says he wants to bring the price of these GLP-1s down to $125 so that people can buy it themselves. I know you're in a quiet period. I know with the IRA price negotiations, there's not a lot you can say, but what can you say about this situation that we're in right now?
Yeah. Well, we sincerely appreciate the point of view that access is paramount, and the ability for patients to afford their medicine is something that we care about and work on every day. I think there's some like-mindedness from the President and the administration that we also want to make sure that our medicines are available. And without commenting on specific pricing, we understand that that's a conversation and one that we're a part of right now in active dialogue. And we hope
so there is talk about it, and you are talking with the administration now?
Yeah, we're engaged in a few different ways. So one is through what's called IRA, through the Inflation
That's for the
Reduction
Medicare.
Act. And we're in conversations about Medicare and our medicines. And we were last year as well for some of our insulins. And then there's also an MFN dialogue, Most Favored Nation. And we are having conversations with the administration about that as well.
So could we see NovoCare and Wegovy and Ozempic on Trump RX?
We would be eager to participate in any format that becomes available, where we can make our medicines available directly to patients. We do that today, as you mentioned, in NovoCare Pharmacy. We launched that earlier this year, where you can receive Wegovy or Ozempic right to your door through NovoCare Pharmacy when you have a prescription. And we would likely, in a likewise fashion, make that available in Trump RX if we can partner with that as well. And I think it's a really positive step forward. We're seeing more ways that patients can receive their medicines directly, if that's how they choose to receive their prescriptions.
Obviously what happens here impacts other places, and your former CEO was saying that if we go to an MFN system in this country, that's going to potentially impact access in other countries because it'll raise prices there.
It certainly could be one of the effects. And every country has their own healthcare system. Every healthcare system is unique. And the way that we work through pricing and access is different. But at the end of the day, we're all trying to seek the same outcome, and that is the availability of our medicines. I believe that these medicines can make a real difference, and we're really still in the early stages. If you think about the people living with obesity and those that are actually receiving treatment today, we have a long way to go.
Dave Moore, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Bertha.